What does a normal day in the life of Rob and Alex look like these days?
It's hard to describe what a normal day actually is. The closest I got to normal is when I'm home and trying to do the same things over and over again.
How do you manage the pressure and stay sharp all the time?
I mean, part of it is I definitely don't think about it.
So, aside from HighLevel, like, what do you enjoy doing outside of business?
That's really what I'm trying to figure out these days of what's my new side quest, what's my new side mission.
Can you take us back to that like moment when you, Shaun and Varun met?
Shaun called me like, hey dude, are you free to jump on a call? I'm going to show you something. I was like, yeah, first off, who is this again? And he's like, hey dude, can you get on Zoom? And I was like, fine, hold on.
Building a company with Shaun and Varun, how do the three of you like divide responsibilities?
We try not to divide with hard lines. I think that's the number one thing. The way that we've really built it is creating what we call a founder's office.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode on the HighLevel Experience podcast. Our guest today is someone who has quietly shaped the entire agency software ecosystem without most people realizing just how deep the story goes. He's an operator through and through, someone who didn't start in marketing hype or venture capital, but deep in the trenches of IT, infrastructure, and technical operations. From working as systems administrator and IT analyst to building his own ventures, he spent years seeing how businesses actually run behind the scenes. The messy stack of tools, the broken workflows, and the constant struggle agencies face trying to scale. What's fascinating is that long before HighLevel became a movement, he had already been building and scaling digital businesses, including his agency, Innovate Fast. That experience gave him a front row seat to one of the biggest problems in the agency world. Talented consultants trapped trading time for money while juggling dozens of disconnected tools. Instead of accepting that as the norm, he helped build something that flipped the model entirely. A platform designed to turn agencies into SaaS companies. Today, that vision has helped thousands of agencies break through the six-figure ceiling, build recurring revenue, and create real systems that scale without needing to become software developers themselves. Please welcome to the show, co-founder of HighLevel, Rob and Alex.
Thank you for having me on. That was a great introduction.
To have you on, Robin. Thank you. Appreciate it. When I was planning for this interview, mate, I definitely was like, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about HighLevel and like the stuff that goes under the hood, and we will. But I'd like to start with you as a person. What does a normal day in the life of Rob and Alex look like these days?
It's hard to describe what a normal day actually is these days, but when I'm home, I like to just start my day super early, hit the gym around 5, come back, shower, then take the kids to school. And then after that, get home, and then it's just nonstop calls, really trying to focus on not only making sure that we're pushing the business forward, but working with our teams and then being able to connect with customers, just trying to chase that every single day. And then in the evenings, of course, spending time with the family and repeat and recycle.
And repeat.
Yeah.
Like Monday to Friday, or you go like every day? Every day I'm hustling.
Yeah, every day I try to pull that off. Of course, the kids don't go to school every day, but try to keep some sort of routine. On the weekends, it's a little bit lighter, but I'm still around, still messaging. I'm on my phone quite a bit, messaging customers, people that reach out to me and things like that, just making sure that I can get them the help that they're looking for. But all in all, things haven't changed that much from my day-to-day because I've always done this. I guess the only difference is traveling a lot more. We're doing a lot of events and speaking and things like that. But the closest I got to normal is when I'm home and trying to do the same things over and over again.
Okay. I mean, that sounds pretty intense. I can't imagine the weight of like responsibility and obviously the scale of the business that you guys have. How do you manage the pressure and stay sharp all the time?
I mean, part of it is I definitely don't think about it. Like I don't do the zoom out of the big part of it. I mean, being in the business, something that I enjoy, Shaun and Varun both enjoy as well, right? Like when we talk about building product or helping customers or doing things, that's really our sweet zone. And if we can do that all day, every day, that's where we would be doing it. As far as the pressure, I think when we know the stakes are high, we want to make sure that we're doing good for our customers and making sure that we're making the right decision, which goes into how we build and what we want to accomplish for them. And we want to make sure that we're building the best products really in the lane of helping our customers. And then through that, we want to make sure that we're making the right decisions for our team members. And we understand that there's definitely a yin and yang, and making sure that when you make a decision on one, it can affect the other, but we want to make sure that we can find the happy medium at all costs. But we try not to think about, as the company gets bigger, the stakes are higher, but we just try to keep it and compartmentalize it to make it feel small every single day.
Otherwise, it'd just be like just too heavy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, aside from HighLevel, like, what do you enjoy doing outside of business?
That's really what I'm trying to figure out these days, of what's my new side quest, what's my new side mission. Just because we've been so busy, we've been traveling quite a bit and things like that. And then my kids are getting older, so running them around. My son, he's about to turn 10. And so his activities after school, they're getting a little bit more serious, I should say. He's getting into soccer, and he has other after school activities, and just making sure that I'm there for him. And my daughter, she's coming into age of her own and starting to get into things on the weekend, birthday parties, friends, and things like that. So right now, that's just where I've been spending a lot of my extra time. But I'm also keeping my eyes open on what other side quests I can go on, short of the AI side of things. But I kind of put that close to the work side of the world. Yeah. But outside of that, it's the kids these days, kids and family.
So have you spin up your own Claude bot yet?
Oh, of course. I have my own Claude bot, OpenClaw. I've been playing in Claude Cowork, just trying to spin out different ideas, different concepts. I've reached out to friends who have different businesses and, hey, let me just see what happens if I unleash this in your business. What would it do? And just seeing the cool, crazy things that it's able to accomplish. And then the other thing that I've been really trying to do is push our team in trying some of this newer technology of AI, right? As we get into the agentic side of things, I think we're, as a company, mostly internally, we're definitely big on AI where we can leverage it. But just like the rest of the world, everyone's focused on AI from a generative perspective. You get it. You get AI sitting on top of some existing data or knowledge base, and it's starting to respond and give you answers and things like that, which is all great. And I think that was a great version of it. But now we're kind of in this new agentic world, and then the accessibility of being able to pull it off. Over the past 3 months with OpenClaw and what Claude and or Anthropic and OpenAI, and everyone's releasing, Perplexity just released some new tools. It's making it very easy for the average consumer, or the tech consumer, I should say. Actually, I'd probably change that to the prosumer, right? To have access to these tools to try doing more complex activities without the need of understanding codes or MCPs or RAG databases and things like that. It's just, you just ask to go. In some cases, you give it a statement and it tries to create a problem and then goes try to solve the problem. And it's going on its own to figure out how to solve it and go get other tools to be able to solve it. Like being in a world like that is definitely new. And then getting comfortability to the team of what the world is shaping up and what the opportunities look like. That's really where I'm spending a lot of time with my team now.
Brilliant. I've got a bunch of questions to ask you about AI. We'll definitely get to that. I'll see if that's a topic.
Yeah.
So you started your career deep in IT, infrastructure systems, admin, technical services support, lots of that.
Helping businesses with tech.
Helping businesses with tech. Yeah. How did that technical background like shape the way you approach building software today?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it was like my background that I built. I think it was something very innate and natural to me, in the sense of, as I was growing up, I was really fascinated with computers. I was very fortunate to have my dad. He was always a bleeding edge kind of guy, where he wanted to make sure that I got the new 386 computer, and now he was hesitant with me playing on it and stuff like that, but letting me have access to it. And then I've always been fascinated on, how do you take, when you have tools at your disposal, how do you actually build something with it? And it's one thing for you to kind of curate an idea in your head, but I've always been I want to do it to where I can see someone smile. So let me go ask them what their problem is, and let me see if I can do it on a computer. Can I accomplish this? And so at a young age, I was like, and back then it's like, ooh, you're handwriting this. Let me see if I can type this out in a document and let's get it to print. Like very simple, rudimentary stuff, which is like, of course, nowadays that's what people do. But, progressively as I've gotten older, it was always that, like, I love playing video games, and so did my friends, and they all wanted to get a game server. And I was like, perfect. I read about this through the installation guide, that you can set up your own server. And I see, let me go try it, because my friends will be the actual test case and becomes essentially a case study. Now, I didn't use these terms, but that's what in my mind, it's like, oh, I can actually make people happy and I get to play around with tech. And ultimately people would pay me, and that's how I grew that business. And then as I would get older, you start helping and solving other problems, leveraging tech, and just the nuances and technology along the way gave me the opportunity to get my hands on things. Getting in the technology side of the world, you get to set up servers, set up different applications, do the implementations there. And then that got me into the digital marketing side, helping people get their online presence to, ooh, what's this new thing about Google Ads or Facebook ads? I don't know, but let me run something for your business and let's see what happens. And anytime I go down a rabbit hole, I got to get it to the finish line of what I promised. So somehow, some way, even if it requires me to put money out of my pocket to figure it out, I will figure it out because I promised you an outcome. So I go down these massive rabbit holes, and that's where things really start pushing the needle for me.
Yeah. Look, you're either learning or you're growing. And if you can, in that process, make money as well, it's like the perfect combo.
Yeah, it's a good sign that you're going down the right direction.
Yeah. And that aspect of the curiosity, speaking to an owner, figuring out what their problem is, and then have that sort of because it's fun coming up with something new and challenging the unknown, and the curiosity and the creativity that we have, and having a tool for that. Back then it was very limited, but there is definitely a correlation to, at least from my own experience over the last 5 years of being a high-level user, seeing how you guys how you've always approached the development of things. You seem to ask what the problems are. You seem to know, for the most part, what we need as an agency owners, and then you build it. That's the famous skateboard method, if you wish.
Yeah.
So it's good to...
Yeah, we definitely love being close to our customers. I remember in the early days, I was with Varun in India, and we were reminiscing, and it was like early days. It was just us three. I would wake up and we'd all three be on a Zoom call starting at 7 a.m. And this was also during the pandemic, right? So you couldn't really get out of the house anyway. So first thing I did was get on my computer and hop on a Zoom call with two incredible guys. And as we started picking up customers, we're just plugging away, and then a customer would ping me or ping Shaun or Varun, and so, hey, someone's joining into the room. They would join the Zoom room, and then they would tell us the problem. And we would literally just start sharing screen and going through the logs and trying to figure out what's going on. So, oh, yeah, we see the problem here in the log. We'd then open up the console and start really coding away live on the screen to make the fix. Yeah. And that was us from that perspective of, we want to build with our customers. And the idea of the skateboard is that when you go out to market, you have two ways to do it. One is you can roll something out very quick. And yes, it may not be the full equipped system. It's a skateboard, but now you get to iterate very quickly and build up a lot faster versus you waiting 2, 3, 4, 5 months and what you think is like the perfect product. And I put that in air quotes. And then ultimately to realize that you have to start iterating from there and start building and things like that. And history has shown in many different use cases that the people that roll out faster typically succeed, and the business world actually grows significantly faster than the people that wait an extended period of time to then roll it out and then start iterating. The snowball effect, when you have two people kind of in that same timeline, the snowball effect becomes so much greater that they start just moving and really running circles around the one person or the one team that waited such a long period. And so for us, that's the way that we've thought about it. And it's something that we hold dear to us, and we want to get out as fast as possible. And the biggest thing is, how do we continue to improve and iterate?
Is this approach, did they come to you guys like naturally? Is that something that you've seen?
I will say it was something very natural to us in the way that we've always operated. But then over time, people asked us to describe it. And then randomly we stumbled on kind of an article that kind of really put the way that we operate and put it on paper. And no, generally we've always known about it, like as a general concept. Like I'm sure you've heard of things like being the agile methodology or like all these things. Like those concepts exist, but we just naturally always just built and just rolled it out. And we love when you get the incoming interest because it shows that people care. And now I can ask you very thoughtful questions, and you can ask me very thoughtful questions to get to the next step and make it better versus, don't worry, some point in the future, I'll have this out to you. I don't know when, but I got to make it perfect. And you're like, I'm just waiting here on the sidelines. Let me know. And then you're off doing something else and you forget about it.
I like that. It's rewarding. It gives you opportunity to really stay in tune, in touch with the customers on a regular basis. One of the things I enjoy doing is weekly open office hours,
Mhm.
like for my own white label. And I always tell my customers like, hey, we've got self-help options. Like we use HR Pro tools to help you out, knowledge base and all that. Use those if you like, just want to learn, find things yourself. But if you want to reach me, I'm a couple times a week, I'm on Zoom. And those are like the best opportunities I find, like just really rewarding as well. Let's just jump in on a Zoom call and how can I help you today? What can I help you with? What are you trying to do? Have you been trying to build something? Oftentimes, actually, that rolls into a service because I show them and then they're like, you know what? Can you just do that for me? Or can you guys do that for me? And then we price it. But that aside, just having that opportunity, it's definitely, I found it really works well with understanding what my customers want and I keep them.
Yeah, again, and ultimately make customers happy, right? Like
Yeah.
the worst thing is to build something that not only people don't want, but then building something to where they're also not wanting and also making them unhappy along the way. That's like the double negative that you don't want to be a part of, because the only way to make it a positive is not working with you. And so I'm more on the side of
There's a
like,
balance. Yeah.
yeah, it's how could I just keep connected with you and just build what you want, or make sure I'm getting you the solution that you need.
Now, there is also another element to it altogether, and that is our own personal, like how we're built innately as entrepreneurs. Like, it's something that I'm battling with over the last 5 years. I am super nerdy and I'm just like a little bit obsessive perfectionist, right? So I am that type of example of what you've mentioned out there is don't wait until it's perfect and then get it out there. There's not of everything that I've done certain things really well, but certain things, certain projects are like, they just taken way too long than they should have. Do you know what I mean? And
Right.
I'm wondering to know what, if you resonate, yes or not, and or if you've come across people like I've come across people a lot in like other agency owners who I speak to, some who just sign up and then they take ages. They buy one of my snapshots or somebody else's snapshot and they're tinkering with it for a little bit too long, trying to make it really perfect, and then you don't get it out. And again, for me personally, I can get into those modes sometimes, and it's like I really struggle to let go.
Yeah.
Have you come across that or people like that or?
Definitely, I've run across people into that. I think for me personally, I've always come to the conclusion of what is actually perfect. And then the only way to find out if it's perfect is by getting validation from an outside party. And so, what's the fastest way to figure out how close I am off the mark? So let me roll something out, and then let me just start asking people. And if what I try to do is ask the least amount of people to help close the gap of what perfect looks like, so that when I'm feeling comfortable, that's when I start asking even more people. And that's the way that I've thought about it. When it comes down to who am I to say this is perfect? Because I know somebody else isn't going to say it's not perfect. And for me to win, I need them to say it's perfect.
Yeah.
So it's not about me, it's about them at the end of the day.
And that gives you a bit of a proof as well that you're on the right track. Yeah.
Yeah. I also look at it as my personal satisfaction, my win of the day
Yeah.
is when I make somebody else happy or make them feel like I completed something for them where they say it's perfect or it's done well. That's what I enjoy. Like, I never say I built the Mona Lisa or I built the masterpiece and I've been focused on this, because I don't know if it's good or bad. I need somebody to verify and validate it for me.
No, that's true. Yeah. No, I've had those moments too. So it's a bit of a mix. Yeah. Going back to, so you're like gaming. So back in 2003,
Yeah,
you
2000.
found, you remember back then you had a company called Absolute Gaming?
Yeah, yeah. I actually started it way earlier than that, but officially on paper, this was back in the day when starting an online business was very unorthodox.
Hmm.
Unless if you're in Silicon Valley, you're not doing anything. And then on top of that, I had no idea what I was doing. The best way that I could accept credit cards online or accept money was through PayPal, right? I remember when PayPal was the way to transfer money, but you had to know something in tech. Somehow being online was important. You need to send money through PayPal. And through that, I started receiving a lot of money to set up game servers, and I knew how to use PayPal to buy the servers and data center and things like that. But I had no idea on how to actually spend money from a day-to-day perspective because I didn't have credit cards and things like that. So I couldn't, it was like this weird moment in life. But what was funny is making decent money. And then my parents really were against me having an online business. It was so unorthodox, not a real thing. Mostly drug money. It's fake, right? It's on PayPal. There is no real money here. PayPal's not even a real bank in their mind. And so I was failing out of school because I was doing this in my dorm room. So I ended up selling the company and getting out just to really appease my parents and make sure that I get the education that they really wanted to. And I've always had a soft spot from that perspective because my parents, they're immigrants that came here to give us a better life. And I felt like I wasn't living up to that story that they wanted to have. And not just my parents, but just kind of the culture that I grew up in the Indian community. That's the way of progressing, right? Your parents come here, you're supposed to go to college.
They want you to be a doctor or...
yeah, be a doctor, be an engineer, a nurse. Like you have to have a first degree, and that's counted as success. So I just thought maybe the business was more of a side quest and I need to get back to getting on track. But that was just also the times that it was. But yeah, that was 2003 that it really took off and where I was really operating it as a real business.
You may not realize this, but for the last 2 years, I've had a secret weapon that has made running my business inside of HighLevel so much easier. You see, there is so much that HighLevel can do, which is amazing, but it's a lot of work to stay up to date with it. And even more so if my customers are asking me questions about it. And this is why I'm excited to announce that our show is officially part of the HLPT Creator Network. This is HighLevel Pro Tools, an organization that I've been using to run support for my customers, as well as give me a ton of awesome epic add-ons that make running, launching, and differentiating my SaaS inside of HighLevel so much easier. And now that they're an official sponsor of the show, they've done something pretty bloody awesome. If you go to hlpt.com/experience, you can get one of their incredible tools absolutely for free. No purchase necessary, just for being a listener on the show. So head over to hlpt.com/experience, grab that free tool, and I promise you this is going to improve the conversion rates on your page. Check out all the other stuff that they offer and tell them that Pete sent you.
You know what's wild? There's a smarter way to grow your agency and help more local businesses without adding more stress. That's what HighLevel does. It's your all-in-one sales, marketing, automation, and AI system. No more duct taping tools together or paying for 20 different subscriptions that barely talk to each other. I've been using it for 5 years with my own white-level version, Stand Out from the Pack, helping Aussie businesses like Dimitri, a Canberra electrician, who now runs his jobs, quotes, calls, and follow-ups with our built-in AI employee. If you're an agency, HighLevel lets you do exactly that. Support your clients in new ways while building stable, recurring revenue every month. And if you're a local business, partner up with somebody who knows your market and your industry. If you're in Tasmania, my mate Jared from Boulder Digital, for example, has you covered. If you're in Canberra, that's my turf. Check out standoutfromthepack.com.au and we'll get you sorted. The point is, there's probably a high-level agency or SaaSpreneur near you. We're seasoned marketers, tech-savvy super nerds who love helping local businesses grow. We're global, we're connected, we're high-levelers. Now, I've got something really special for you guys. I've negotiated an exclusive 30-day HighLevel trial that's double the usual just for you. Sign up your agency through gohighlevel.com/vid or upgrade your existing plan, and I'll hook you up with over $3,200 worth of bonuses, resources, templates, and snapshots I normally give to my private clients only. So whether you're scaling an agency or leveling up your business, start with the right system. gohighlevel.com/vid or team up with your local SaaSpreneur and let's make business simple again. One platform, one login, no duct tape, just results. What did building online business like that early teach you about internet? About internet entrepreneurship, I should say.
Looking back, it got me the ability to test out things that helped me in the future. I started dabbling in Google Ads, realizing that online communities, in hindsight, I made a lot of online friends. People, I mean, back then it was super interesting. I met a decent amount of people, never have seen their face, right? Like you're only chatting with them and maybe you hear their voice on video games, but you never saw their face. Being able to have kind of this outside network, realizing that you can actually sell a product and people will find you somehow, some way, right? It was almost magical in that lens of, wow, I just put a website up and here I am in this online community where I really know, because back then it was these chat groups on IRC and things like that. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you're posting.
ICQ is what I used to use.
Got it. Yeah. So there's ICQ, and then there's this other thing where it was like almost like Slack, but this is a long time ago. IRC, Internet Relay Channels, or message boards. Like those were massive back then. You post something on there, people would go to your website, and people would actually purchase something. Like how crazy is that? And then the ability to actually make enough money to not only be sustainable as a college kid, but then I'm buying things around the world. I was getting servers in Luxembourg I had a server in Singapore. What? Like how crazy. And then now looking back, I did all that through PayPal, right? That was
That's
the
unreal.
main form of currency. But that's in the moment, I'm not thinking about how crazy it is. It's just like means to an end. Someone's asking, there's a gaming clan or a gaming team based out in Singapore, and they wanted the fastest servers. I met them online and yeah, let me go set that up for you. I use server, figured out how much I wanted to profit off of it, and set up as a PayPal subscription, just started billing. And that was the hustle and grind mode. But years later, looking back, it's wow, how did I go down these rabbit holes and how did I figure it out? And what a world it was back then.
You've also had another company called Innovate Fast. What lessons from running that company directly influenced the creation of HighLevel?
Yeah, so Innovate Fast was interesting. Prior to that, it was called RS7 Tech. And then prior to that, I was doing IT consulting, working for another company. But the real thing there was I was really helping small businesses. They were spending a lot of money, not only with their infrastructure, when you think of like setting up computers, deploying 30, 50, 500, 1,000 computers, shipping them worldwide. People are really upgrading their networks, getting massive offices, doing all their wiring. You need to run all those back into data centers or
getting all the Cisco phones.
Yeah, you're doing all the Cisco phones, you're doing the IP telephony, you're doing cameras, you're doing these massive racks of network switches and all this sort of stuff. They're spending thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, almost millions of dollars in investment. And at the same time, they were also spending significant amount of dollars on how to get online, right? Like how do you make sure that your website is up to date and relevant and make sure your .com is good? So I started out on the tech side, working for a company and really helping them grow that business. And through that, I built up a lot of trust and confidence with the business owners because they're essentially handing you the keys to their network and their passwords and their servers and things like that. And we would just set up those infrastructures. And they kind of looked at it as, look, if technology on the hardware, software side, obviously, you know, everything else of technology. When you think of digital marketing or websites or all these other things, obviously you need how to do that too. And I really didn't. However, I was willing to learn, but I needed an outcome, right? So I would wait until a customer would ask me, and I was always like, sure, I will figure it out. And I remember the first one was like, I got this bid for $50,000 to build a new website. It's okay, let me see if I can do it for you. And I would never ask for money or anything, but this has got to be easy. As silly as it is, I was like, no one can figure this out better than me. So then I would spend my evenings, and that'd be my side quest, trying to figure out how to build it. Then it turns to my weekends, and then it staying up overnight. And then it turns into, what did I get myself into? Because they keep adding more requests or more complexity, or you come into a roadblock. And Google wasn't as strong as it is today. So you're kind of figuring it out on your own, asking people and trying to solve it. And I just got really good at that. And that's what turned into the first version of Innovate Fast, where I would take customers that I met over time, helping them with their network. They would ask me to help them with their digital marketing, really helping them with their websites, and then maybe some database work and stuff like that. Really trying to help them optimize where they could. Over time, it got into, what's this new thing with advertising? How do we get more traffic? How do we grow? And that's really where the business actually quintupled very quickly, because now it's no longer on a project by project basis. It was more about how do you stay close to the business and help them grow from their revenue line perspective. And so the statement I would always say is, how close can you get to the revenue line? And that's how you can help a business, because if you are a part of their revenue generation, they will keep you forever because you hold the keys to driving more business for them. And that's really where we were really strong at Innovate Fast, because we would help them not only with their digital marketing, we'd help them with all their advertising and making sure that we could not only drive the leads, but then we needed to figure out, how do you give the customer the leads and then make sure that they act upon it. So when a lead comes in, we realize that they weren't responding. So let's set up some autoresponders. Let's set up the email. What if we can do it all the way to the phone calls? How do we start ringing their phone line in their office? Because every business owner is going to be good at their business. A doctor's going to be good at being a doctor. They're not going to be good at closing customers or picking up the phone and things like that. Even when they have an assistant or a front desk, they're not going to be good at picking up the phone and answering. They're going to go do some administrative work instead. And so we needed to force the hand. So we started building out all these automations, and we got really good at, we created this tech stack. It was like, for any business that we sign up, you need to set up to 16 different products. And I almost essentially turned my team into this team of help the customer sign up to these 16 products. Let's get the username and passwords. And then we had this SOP of connect this into this and do this into this. And then you're using tools like a Zapier, using APIs, and all of a sudden you're gluing together all these things. And then while you set it up, this masterful Mona Lisa of the spider web of all these different tools, you got to go back to your old client because an API broke or a password broke on one of them. So you got to reconfigure everything again, right? So now we became this consulting organization that's really setting up all these different tools, and we became this implementation company to a certain extent. So much so that other agencies started hiring us almost like as a white label to implement this tech stack for them, right? And so that's honestly what we did at Innovate Fast, and it turned into a decent sized business. But those learnings really is what we were able to encapsulate. And when I met Shaun and Varun, is really the problem statement that we were solving for. And that's what we created HighLevel with.
Yeah. I mean, before HighLevel existed, before thousands of agencies were building SaaS businesses on top of it, it was the duct tape method. But like, when was that moment for you when you realized the agency world was like fundamentally broken and needed a completely different model?
I never took it as the model is broken. I think the way that I looked at it was, hey, the business is very complex. We built this tool really to help my agency as the first one. And I just felt so amazed that Shaun and Varun were able to come up with a solution from what I was the problem and what I was able to glue together and piece together. You know, I was like, man, you guys provided me so much success. Let me go give it to other agencies because I think they're dealing with the same problem themselves. And it was one of those things that I don't think agencies even saw this as a problem. I think many agencies, even today, many agencies feel like their expertise and why they're brought on to help small businesses is to become this technology implementer, right? Mm-hmm. They're the technologist. And to a certain extent, from a job security perspective, you are the tech enabler of gluing 16 different products together, 17 different products together, APIs and things like that. So I don't think that businesses or agencies actually saw this as a solution to a problem because they thought that they were the solution to the problem. But, you know, I think once people got into it and understood what we were trying to accomplish, that's where it started getting very viral and word of mouth. And that's honestly how it grew. It's, wow, you're spending a lot of time being the technology implementer. How are you going to grow your agency? And so then it was like, so here's how we actually solve it. So let's go coach people on take what you've been known for, put it all into one place. Now you can get back to selling. And now this is how you can actually grow your business.
It's the leverage aspect to it. Can you take us back to that like moment when you, Shaun, and Varun met? How did you guys met in the first place anyway? And that first moment when this became an idea.
I was running and operating Innovate Fast. Shaun and Varun, they have a fun story. They worked together 15, 20 years earlier at another startup in the call center space. And so they got to build a lot of cool software, even in phone systems and things like that. Ultimately, both of them kind of went different paths. Varun went on to become an entrepreneur himself. He was helping really create a family business with him and his brother, creating squash courts, kind of the game squash. And so they have a lot of gymnasiums and things like that. And then at the same time, Shaun was building out another software called Invoice Sherpa, which he was able to grow to a couple thousand customers all on his kitchen table. Now, the biggest challenge that he had was it was a one-man show and he wasn't charging enough. While you say you have a lot of customers, if you're not charging them a lot of money, it's only enough to sustain himself. He couldn't afford support and things like that. So he was nonstop working. And he got a call to someone wanted to acquire his business. And so he ended up taking that deal. And then he was trying to figure out like what his next move was. And he had a lot of experience helping small businesses with Invoice Sherpa because he was helping them really recover dollars. And so he got to hear a lot of their challenges and struggles talking to many small businesses. And so he actually reached out to Varun to see if he wanted to work together on. They didn't know what they wanted to work on, but he's whatever it is, you're the best engineer that I've ever worked with. Let's partner up. So they started building different tools. And so I think it was like a 3 or 4 year period where they were building different software applications. You'd hear about, and this was definitely back in that moment in time where you would hear about one company that took off and everyone is trying to build their version of it like immediately right after. So they just made $600 million. What is 1% of that? So I'm going to code up my version of it and see if we can get it. And they would build that up and they wouldn't get significant amount of traffic into it. So they built stuff, Service Max Pro, which is like helping like a Jobber or a Service Titan competitor to building an invoicing application, kind of like what QuickBooks does. So they built a reputation management software, kind of like Bird Eye and things like that. And they were just trying to figure out like, how can they help businesses? And anytime they got a business on there, the business would ultimately cancel because they would always say, this is a cool tool, but I need more customers. What can I do to help with more customers? And so through that journey, I think they were slowly fizzling out. They were both not making any revenue in the business, and they had spouses who were, think of your household, right? Like when you're being supported by someone else, it gets a little stressful when no money's coming in. But we had a very fortunate moment where they were prospecting and they happened to have hit one of my customers that I had, and they were trying to implement the reputation management software. And that customer was like, hey, this looks like a really interesting tool, but they're asking me for usernames and passwords and things like that. I don't know what they are. You're my digital agency. Can you contact them? Can you talk to them and get them access? And so, of course, I got on a phone call with them, didn't know who they were, you don't know who's on the other line. They could be working for a conglomerate. They could be working for $1 billion company, and you could just talk to a project manager. But I got on a call with Shaun and Varun and got them access to what they were looking for. And then I was like, can you give me a demo? What exactly is this? What are you trying to do? And what is the product? They went through it and I was like, oh, this is really interesting, but can it do this and this? And they're like, yeah, we can make that happen. And I was like, yeah, but if you do this and this, let me show you what I'm doing in my agency. And what was fun about that is a couple of weeks prior, my team and I were sitting in our conference room at the office and we mapped out our whole business. Remember, like we took 17 pieces of software and we were like mapping it out. What would it take if we created one software to doing this? We had it on a whiteboard. We never erased it. And I remember being on a call with these guys and I was like, hey, hold on 1 second. And they're like, okay. So I ran into the conference room, took a picture of it, put it back on the Zoom call, and they saw it. We get it now. We get it. Cool. This is really interesting. Give us a couple of days and we'll call you back. And then when somebody tells you that, first time you're meeting them, like I said, you don't know who they are, what they're up to, what company they're working for. I just kind of took it off as the end of a call, whatever. They may or may not call me back. They're going to pitch me later or whatever, right? You don't know if there's anything there. So then, lucky enough for me, the incredible Shaun and Varun, Shaun called me like 2 days later. And I remember I was in the car. It was like 8 a.m. Central Time. And I was driving to the office, getting to the office there. And I got a call on my phone. I'm like, I don't know this number. What is it? I remember answering, hello? And they're like, hey, dude, are you free to jump on a call? I'm going to show you something. I was like, yeah, first off, who is this again? You call me like, yeah, your friend. And he's, oh, no, this is Shaun Clark. Remember, we spoke a couple of days ago and we want to show you something about the software. And in my mind, I thought they wanted to, it's like, yeah, let me get on a call, whatever. And I hung up the call and was like, I'll call you back in 20, 30 minutes. Let me get situated and then we'll get on. And I just thought it was like, they're calling me as a sales call. They want to do a thorough demo of their product and maybe they're trying to sell me. It's like, okay, here we go. Of course, I get to the office, get my morning coffee, talking to the team, completely forget about them. I get rolling through the day. And then I remember being in the conference room and look at my phone and it's that number again. So, oh, yeah, here they go. They're still trying to do this sales call. So I flip my phone over and then it goes off again. And I was like, let me just answer this call. Hello? And he's like, hey, dude, where are you? We want to show you something really cool. Can you get on Zoom? And I was like, fine, hold on. So I get up and then I get on the Zoom call. And Shaun and Varun kind of they were able to mock up a lot of what HighLevel is today in many cases. And one, I was like, is this real? I built software and stuff in the past. Like, there's no way you spun this up in 2 days. And so I thought it was like maybe just graphics or like an image mock-up or something. And they're like, no, it actually works. Like, we can test it out. I was like, are you serious? Let's do it. Let's go hook it up to one of our customers that we were onboarding. So we hooked it up and next day, we're like, oh my gosh, this is all working. Let's go back to that customer that we have as a co-customer. Set up for that amazing success. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I want to buy this for all of my customers. Like, I have 80 customers that are prime for this. What price would you give? And then on top of that, I think I can help you guys. Like, I know other agencies dealing with this problem. And I wasn't doing it for any money. I was just like, oh my gosh, you guys just did something really amazing. I think there's a lot of people that they don't know that this is a problem for them, but let me show it to them and I think they'll get it. So I started picking up the phone and calling other agencies. I called 20 different agencies. Everyone said yes, they're interested or whatever. 13 of them actually fell through. And really the ask was like, hey, looking at this new software, I think it solves a major problem that people don't realize. Would you be interested? You can try it out free for 30 days. And if you like it, I'll give you a one-time exclusive offer. You just pay us $1,000 and you get it for life. And if not, you don't have to pay us anything. We'll close your account out. No harm, no foul. All 20 of them said yes. The 13 that did it, they loved the product and they started getting on Zoom calls all the time with us and just asking questions, and we were just helping them figure it out. And then at the end of the 30 days, all 13 of them paid. And I was like, oh my gosh, it made money. And then from there, it was like, all right, how do we get more? And so that's when we started really pushing it. We got invited to an event, and then it started getting viral in all the different communities. And from that moment on is really where the birth of HighLevel really spun out and where we are today.
Wow. Can you imagine if you didn't pick up that call? I mean, that really, that's that critical moment. Because it took like your experience based on what you said, you all came in with different strengths, and together that's the combination there. That's the secret sauce to me, like what I'm hearing. I really believe it.
It's, I don't know the right word. It's like karma or whatever you're going to call it. I mean, just pure luck that we were all able to really connect at that right time, the right place, and really lean in. And to this day, we have an incredible relationship. And I've just been so fortunate and lucky to have two great partners to work with and go to fight for our customers every single day. And it's been the same since the very beginning.
With building a company with Shaun and Varun, how do the three of you like divide responsibilities?
We try not to divide with hard lines. I think that's the number one thing. The way that we've really built it is creating what we call a founder's office. It's hard to put it on paper, but we call it a founder's office. And we try to look at it as there's problems every single day. Who's the closest to the problem and who's willing to solve it? And from that perspective, it's you're up. Can you go chase it and solve it there? Now, that's how we kind of look at it. Like when you think of like people who have very defined roles, they're probably great in their lane, but in reality, there are things that kind of fit in between two roles. Businesses fail or businesses have issues is when who's covering for those gaps, who's picking up the ball there. And when you create these very defined lines of, nope, you only focus on this one thing and this one thing only, do not come into my fiefdom or my world, that's where problems exist. And so for us, we just kind of look at it as we're a founder's office, we're one unit, we're all trying to chase the same thing, we're all trying to do the same thing. Like we're all figure out the problems. Now, I'll probably say like where our strengths lie and where we end up. I like talking to the team. I love talking to customers. I love trying to figure out ways to create solutions. So I'm definitely more on the front end, but I have a very technical background. I love talking to our product team and all that. Varun, he's always with the engineering team and tech team and really trying to build out the solutions and things like that. But just as much, he talks to customers just as much as I do, trying to understand what is the problem and things like that. Same thing with Shaun. Shaun has an engineering background, so he's always talking to the team on products and stuff. But very much so, he's in our Facebook group talking to customers, trying to get them solutions. So it's not that we're so like, here's our defined line. We have parts that we enjoy and run, but we try to be everywhere and we run it as one unit, and that's how we operate.
Yeah, it makes sense and makes it work like a team. And also, there's this book like Extreme Ownership, like taking responsibility. And I think in that scenario where everybody's got their own lane, it's then people will never take responsibility over anything that's outside of the lane of this. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense why it works the way it works for you guys. And in general, I believe it too.
Yeah. But, I think the biggest thing there, when you talk about extreme responsibility, where people get that wrong, is it extreme responsibility within my defined box? Or is it extreme responsibility in the perspective of the box doesn't exist? It's the company or the umbrella that as an organization, we need to all have extreme responsibility to getting to the outcome. And I think that's where people get that big disconnect and where problems start ensuing.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's for the best interest of the company and the customer. So otherwise, it's just too narrow-minded view and not looking at the full picture. Granted, we're all people. We all have different like characteristics, whatever. So there can be disagreements that can happen.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, disagreements are natural. I think that between Sean, Vern, and I, disagreements happen all the time. We're not gonna lie or anything like that, but none of it ever gets heated in the perspective of taking it personal.
okay.
It's always been disagreements on how we want to approach a solution to a problem. And it comes down to like different perspectives on what is the best decision. The ones that become the most heated or the most vocal about is when it affects a customer. What is the best way that we should solve the problem? How should we look at it? Because while everything it can be very binary, it's like very domino effect. You make one change here, it affects something else. And so trying to figure out the right alignment there. But it's never been something where you take direct shots at someone from a personal perspective and let your ego get ahead of you and like you have to be right or anything like that. We're all trying to chase what is the best answer for our customers and for our team. And as long as you have those two in mind, disagreements happen, but you just move on. And in many cases, the nice thing of having two out of three is there's always one who gets to be the deciding factor. And we've never, back to that point, we've never taken it personal. So if I have a situation where I lose the battle, I never take it as a personal loss. I always look at it as you two feel more stronger about it. I'm going to support you guys, but you guys have to run lead on it because I don't have that same conviction or that same passion. And that is perfectly fine, but I need to win with my team. So I'm going to make sure I give you the support, all the resources. Like I'm not going to gatekeep anything. Like you guys need it. You guys know it way better than the way that I'm seeing it. You guys see a lane that I'm not seeing. And then there's other times where it's like, I'm the one championing something and I need someone else to come on my side. And the one who doesn't is, I mean, you have to run it, but whatever you need, go get to the finish line, go win. I just don't see that same lane. And that is perfectly fine. Like you have to realize that is perfectly fine, but we all want to win. And I think that's the biggest win for us.
Was there ever a moment when you had a disagreement over like a bigger strategic decision when it was a bit of a stalemate for a while then before you figured it out?
Never. We try not to let things sit. Like we just try to make the decision as quick as possible. The other philosophical thing that we look at is the faster that you can make a decision, right or wrong, back to the skateboard model. You start driving down this, it's like you're driving down a highway. I don't know if this is the right exit, but should we take it or not? Should we take it? All right, we're just going to take it. The second that you take it, you start realizing if it was the right decision or not. And guess what you can do if it's not the right decision? Pivot back and get back on the highway again, right? But if you just sit on the highway and then you miss it, and you start second guessing yourself, and then you pass 2 exits, 5 exits, 10 exits, 30 exits, and you're like, oh crap, you know what? I think we were right. Let's now go turn around. Like, how painful is that? You wasted 30 minutes or an hour, right? So that's why we actually don't have a lot of stalemates that last long. Usually it's like, let's just decide and go. We'll figure it out later.
Yep. Good. So it's just learning, like swallowing that bitter pill every now and then, and like for the benefit of the business, and let's just move fast.
Yeah, and even from that perspective of swallowing the pill, like I said, when you don't take it personal, there is no swallowing the pill. It's like someone in this room's got to have the right answer. So if you two feel like that's the right answer, let's go. There's no, oh shucks, I lost this argument.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I like that.
So it probably feels unorthodox, but that's honestly how we operate.
Yeah, I mean, I was asking some of these questions that I come up with. They're just maybe my own personal experiences when I've worked with somebody and we butt heads, and I don't know, like maybe I had that feeling like a bit of a disgruntled, but I guess that's ego and learning how to keep it in check as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's that feeling that you don't always have to be right.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that I personally get it. I don't have to be right, but I want to have the ultimate win. And the ultimate win doesn't have to come from me. We're a team, we're a unit. And if the team has to win, not me personally. Yeah,
that makes sense. Now, HighLevel, amazing platform. I mean, I got hooked the first time I laid my eyes on it. So many really cool tools. Same experience before then. I ran agency. I was duct taping things. So it's amazing product. What you guys build is incredible. All in one, constantly evolving, always releasing new stuff. But HighLevel isn't just the software. It's really become a community. Was that always part of the strategy, or did that evolve kind of organically?
Definitely the community has something that's grown organically from the very beginning. One is using my personal network, and everyone kind of knew each other, and we would put everyone in a Facebook group together because it was like, what's the best way to communicate with everyone? This was before we started using Slack, and Slack was early days back then. It was like, do we put everyone in a Google chat? No, everyone's on Facebook. Let's just actually, we didn't even put them in a Facebook group. We put them in a Facebook chat group, right? And then in that chat group, that's where everyone is talking and communicating, and that's where we had the Zoom call. And we actually renamed it as high-level support because we couldn't afford a help desk system, right? So it was just, we didn't want to check emails. We were like, oh, just use this as live communication. What's better than talking live and helping our customers? And then what happened was we got it up to 200. And then we started getting alerts from Facebook saying, you need to shut this down. We're closing down the Facebook group concept, and you need to create the Facebook chat. You need to create a Facebook group, and that's going to be the next version. So that's when we started putting people in the Facebook group. And then from there, that community, organically, more people started joining in and being a part of that. And of course, we're a part of it. We're communicating, we're talking to people, we're commenting on posts. And then from there, it's just started to continue to evolve to where people started asking like, hey, who else is in my city? Let's start meeting up. Let's start talking. Let's start going to other masterminds together. Let's get it embedded there. And then we started doing events, and the events was definitely the opportunity to bring everyone together. And then from there, now we're starting to create local chapters. We're doing events around the world. So now we're trying to put gasoline on the community and trying to make sure that it continues to strengthen. But to be honest, it started organically.
Would you attribute that to be like the main part of your marketing initially? Because I've never seen you guys really like that. Other companies, the big competitors, they're going all in on ads, for example, and all that. I don't think that watching HighLevel, it feels like it was all.
Our model was always word of mouth. We've never been the ones that says we're the best sales company or the sales organization. That's not us. And even early on, we just couldn't afford ads, right? So every money that came in, we wanted to put it back into. I mean, Shaun, Varun, and I never took a paycheck for like the first 18 months. Never took $1 of the company. It was like, you know what, we need to keep going. So let's go hire another engineer. Let's go hire someone to help us on support and all that. So we just kept putting that money back into the company and keep going that way. So we could never afford running ads, and running ads requires testing, which means that you need to have a budget because you just light the dollars on fire if it goes wrong, right? You only get one chance with the money. And so we just didn't have the budgets there. So we never really sold. So what we would do is just anyone that we supported and spoke to, we would just ask, hey, Vit, now that we got you to success here or set you up, do you know anyone else that would like this? And you would immediately be like, oh yeah, I know Bob's actually online right now. Let me invite him in. Because everyone is an online culture, right? Everyone kind of knew each other. You're chatting with someone somehow, some way. And conveniently enough, you're like, oh yeah, he's jumping in the Zoom. You would invite them to the Zoom, and then we would start talking about the product and the cool things. You're like, all right, I got to jump to another call. You would drop off, and now we're just talking to the other person. We're like, let's just do a demo. Let me just show you what we're doing. And people would just be in shock, and they're like, let me try it. Let me see what happened. And they would come back and love it and keep going. And we just do the same thing. Now, do you know someone else? Do you know someone else? And it just spider webbed out from there.
It's the ultimate litmus test in a way, like the litmus paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it gives you the right color. Are you healthy or not? So yeah, I believe this is like the best approach to any business is look after your customers so well, ask them for feedback. If the feedback is great, then ask them for a referral. And if they give you that referral, then you're doing things right. And then you could basically generate more customers that way. And because they are referring and they are giving you good feedback, then that also looks after the retention. So yeah, I'm a big believer in that.
When I think about value as a whole, I've always been the person I want to make sure that I'm giving you so much value that you're willing to throw your wallet at me because I'm not charging you enough. And the way that we grew our product was very inexpensive, definitely value driven, just built in because with all the tools and features there. And so if I'm able to help you with that last mile of setting it up properly and solving that problem that you had in your business of complexity, taking 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 different applications, and now it's all into one place and it's working. And we're only charging you $100 a month or $300 a month, and that's it. When I ask that question, just to help me, do you know anyone else that wants to run it? You feel almost obligated to making that happen because we've saved so much money for you. And that's honestly the way that we've operated the business and always thought about it. We're going to make sure that we're probably 10x the value that you're buying from us.
Yeah, definitely. HighLevel pricing structure is interesting because it doesn't just price the software. It actually encourages agencies to evolve their business model. Kind of feels like that. It's especially with the SaaS mode, the agency pro plan. When you design the pricing tiers, where you're intentionally trying to, I don't know if push is the right word, but move them towards building recurring SaaS revenue rather than staying purely service based?
No, that was just learnings over time. So when we rolled it out, we were trying to figure out the best way to price it out. And most products at the time was either $100 a month for limited set of features versus a higher tier. And it get you more features, of course, right? And you try to gate it. But we could never figure out the best way to provide a limited set of features. The only thing that we could figure out is we work with agencies and they work with many different sub accounts, right? Or many businesses. So what if we just gate that? And so we have a low tier one because people want to do it themselves, right? And so that was the small tier, which is the 97. And then it was like, we'll still give you all the tools there. And then at the 297, we knew that many businesses have 20 different businesses that they represent. So make that $300 a month. And that was it. So we only had 2 plans for the first couple of years. And then through that, what we realized was that people were adding a new line item to their fees. They were actually operating it as a SaaS company, and they were trying to hook it up to other tools like to Stripe and trying to manage the subscriptions. And then we'd get the idea on, hey, how do we, if someone doesn't pay, how do I lock them out of their account? Because I would love it, because when they see that their account's locked, they're going to pay me my invoice, right? It's not free access and stuff. And like, oh, this is interesting. So by listening to the customer, we started building what we call SaaS Mode. So that came out like 2 or 3 years later. And I think that was the linchpin to really take on converting people from being just an agency who has this multi-tenant software to now being a SaaS company. And I think it's super important for businesses and something that a lot of businesses are really leaning into, mostly as in the new AI revolution that we're going in right now.
It's a perfect flywheel. I remember that moment. It was 2021, somewhere in the middle of 2021 when you guys released it. And later on, I jumped and upgraded to that. But yeah, it's perfect flywheel. Like the way I like it, what I like about it is in my own business, like I can play different storylines to businesses, different markets. I can go, hey, we're SaaS first, and then you help yourself out and we're here for you and we'll support you. And if at any time you need us to do anything in your account, and that's where our agency services come in. Vice versa, you can play the other way and then upsell that. So it's great. But what I'm curious to know, do you think that the way you guys have the SaaS plan structured now, is that the perfect, or do you think there's a room for new innovation?
I mean, I think what's interesting is we don't get a lot of pushback on our pricing model. People love it. Back to that point in time, we want to be on the side of we're providing out the box 10x, 100x value that you can't get anywhere else. I think that puts us in a great position. I think if you look at a lot of other competitors and a lot of other products, they have different pricing models, right? Where they focus on per seat or per contact or things like that. And the new thing now is per use. And we've done that since the beginning with the lead connector. So as you use your text messaging and things like that, you just pay as you go in whatever you use. And so you have the opportunity to fluctuate and come down. With all the other ones, it's once you get up to a certain amount of contacts or amount of users, they won't let you downgrade, right? And so we give you the most flexible. And actually, this is becoming more of the standard play that people are expecting as we get into the AI revolution. They only want to pay for the utilization that they're using there. And so we were already primed and set years ago, and actually probably first to market with this pricing model before anyone else. And now everyone is trying to transition into it.
It makes perfect sense. And I've kind of come to that same conclusion. The way I've priced my plans was initially because you have that, if something is available to you, sometimes you just tend to use it the way it's it gives you that opportunity. Like I'm talking about the SaaS plans where you can select which features to unlock, which features to not unlock, and do the tier based. And that's how I did it originally. And I realized, you know what, I'm probably just creating a ton of friction, like the indecision for customers, because they don't really know those features yet. So how are they supposed to pick? So I got rid of it, and then I just made it based on how many user seats. So are you a small, are you growing, or are you scaling? And if you're scaling, you get unlimited. And if you're just small, you get 3 seats. And the middle, I put 6 seats. I don't know if it's the best number, but that's kind of how I do it. So now all I have to decide on is just how many seats do I need? It's pretty simple. How many people do you have? But I think there's a new evolution coming as well for me. I've been thinking about it for a while. is where I'll just get rid of the seats as well. And then I'll just have it even simpler, like monthly, annual, because I'm on a 497, so I've got my markup. So that's where the money's at as well.
Yeah.
So if I help them, doesn't matter how many people they have, if I help them grow further, I'll make more money anyway on a rebilling, and I don't have a huge markup anyway, but it's a markup.
The great thing about the markup and all that, people don't feel like you're taxing them because you're delivering them outcomes, right? Of course, you're going to spend more money because you're doing more texting, but the more texting actually generates more communication, more engagement, ultimately leads to more customers. And the worst thing for any business is not having any engagement or any phone calls coming in or text messages coming in, right? So they don't feel like it's the end of the world if they're willing to pay for it.
Yeah. Speaking of the end of the world, just having fun here, AI. So there's obviously a massive shift happening right now. Unless you guys are listening, unless you've been living under the rock, there's lots happening. Vibe coding, all that. Some people are saying maybe AI is going to kill SaaS entirely. From your perspective, building HighLevel, is AI killing SaaS or is it transforming it?
We're on the side of transforming SaaS. I think we believe that there's two different parts of AI that we're focused on. There's AI for you and AI with you. And so where the world is shifting to is there's the Aunt Jemima effect, right? Like you want to make pancakes. If you go out to the store and get pancake mix and all it says is just add water and then you make it, did you really make pancakes? Or is it giving you the effect that you made pancakes? Because you didn't get all the 20 different ingredients to make it and properly measure it out and everything. All you did was just add water. So when we think about that with HighLevel, we have AI with you, where you're able to use a lot of the tools that we have from an AI perspective, where you can help from a generative perspective, help create social posts, help create building a website and things like that. So a lot of our tools and things makes it easier for agencies who are not really ready to be fully trust AI blindly. I don't know. I just turned it on. AI is kind of operating on its own. Who knows if it's going to do what I promised to deliver to my customer, right? I don't know how many agents are there. So we have this AI with you model. Now we have this other one that's AI for you. And this, I think, is really kind of the other revolutionary part. It's taking a lot of the SaaS concepts and really putting it from an AI perspective. So within HighLevel, right, you can actually create it to where when messages come in from a form or someone opts into something, they can then communicate manually. Then we started putting conversation AI into place, which you can eliminate the human, and now AI is handling it for you. It's essentially an agent there, right? So that's AI for you. Like we're just giving you the agent to handle that. It's out of the box, ready to go. Then, you're going to think about AI voice. If somebody is calling into the business, you would have to have a human pick up the phone, right? And most of the time they miss the call. They're too busy. They're after hours or whatever. And now with AI voice, you can actually have an AI agent, an AI receptionist actually answer the call and actually have a full conversation with someone. And the technology and features that's coming out there is getting incredibly well done. Like you can't even tell that it's AI anymore, right? Like the voice, the accents, the pauses, the way that you communicate, the emotion behind it, like it's starting to pick up those senses now. So we're bringing in those tools. And so that's really the way that we're really shaping up the product, is like having the AI with you and the AI for you.
It's going to be very interesting is as we tend to give feedback to you guys, and that's how it works, the ideas board and all that, and the platform keeps evolving. We're all trying to make it easier for ourselves as well. It's getting very close to a point where it's already happening, where you can just get a client to fill up the form and then just have an AI agent, then it gets that passed on to Lovable or vibe coding, other vibe coding platforms, spin up a website. So the amount of effort on our end is like reducing.
I think the effort is changing, right? You're going to be able to, from an effort perspective, you're going to be able to be more thoughtful and actually deliver the outcome that you promise at such a faster rate with more consistency, right? Because AI is going to be able to do it with you. So you get to solve there. Then from the value extraction back to the consultants or back to the agency or the technology implementer, right? Like that we were talking about, this, what we call the SaaSpreneurs, the bigger value is you're able to adopt a customer so much faster than you have ever done before, which allows you to get back on the boots on the ground to go find your next customer.
I hope that's going to be true going forward. I just hope it's not going to be the other way where over time there's going to be products in the market that are like so turnkey that you just, do you know what I mean? Like,
I think there's a world where that might happen. The products will exist. The challenge, though, is discoverability. Who's going to find these products? Who's the person that's going to feel confident to go blindly implement it? Is the dentist going to blindly go seek this product and blindly implement it and go?
yeah.
Do they have the time to do that? Monitor, manage, and maintain it. So then they rely on what we call the SaaSpreneur, the consultant, the person that they call. In every technological shift in the world, right? So think years ago, when internet was taken off, people were trying to call they didn't know how to create a website. So they were calling someone, trying to find someone, can you build a website for me? The next technological shift when social media was taken off, I don't know, I have a business. I need to get on social media somehow, some way. Can someone help me? So you call somebody and then they just do the work to make sure that you have an online presence, right? Then there was the other shift of paid advertising. I know I need it, but I don't have the time. I'm just going to call somebody. Maybe it's an agency, right? Like a consultant, a technology implementer. They're always calling somebody. Then you have software. We need a CRM. We need workflow automation. We need all this. Let's call somebody to doing it, right? And typically it's this layer, the SaaSpreneur layer that we call it here at HighLevel, but it's that technology implementer. It's the same people, the same technology implementers. Now we're at the world where small businesses who are probably the ripest today to implement the technology is the small business. It's the mechanic, it's the dentist and things like that, because they want to find leverage as fast as possible. When it used to be like you go sell to the mega companies in the Fortune 500, the problem is people are concerned about their jobs. They have job security issues. They have 12,000 people they don't know what they're doing there, right? So they're protecting their own. And then you have security concerns because IT is trying to protect their job and they want to do a good job, right? So it's very slow to innovate there. But when you can go to the small business who is ripe and ready for it, that is where change is going to happen. But the problem is they don't have time, nor the confidence or the expertise to implement it. So this is where the agency layer, this distribution layer, never goes away.
I definitely am noticing AI. The interest is building from businesses that I talked to. That I went to network the other week, spoke to like a little mastermind table with people, SME space. They are now talking differently than they were talking like a year ago. Now they're asking, it's not about the hesitation against AI. Now it's more about the problem of, I don't really know how I would implement it. Do you know what I mean? Last year was like the curiosity, but definitely a hesitance for the most part is what I got. And now it's, we're now at a process of where we know that we need to start looking at it. We just don't know how, we don't know where to start. So yeah, it is, we're at a perfect spot, all of us, SaaSpreneurs. It's amazing. Yeah. Robin, I've also reached out to community and our listeners for this interview, and I asked them if they could ask you some questions, what they would want to ask. Yeah. Would it be okay if we run through a couple? I don't know if we're going to go through all of them, run out of time here, but so I'll start with the first one. This was a question that I was going to ask you anyway, and it was just confirmation that is a real issue with other agencies.
Yeah, can you give me 1 quick second? Sorry.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, sure.
Sorry, someone just came to the door. But yeah, go ahead. Let's go.
This is an Australian high-level community. As the platform continues to grow globally, how are you thinking about the Australian market specifically? For example, many businesses here, especially those working with defense, like I'm in Canberra, and there's a lot of small businesses that have deals with defense or government or other regulated industries like healthcare, aged care. They require the data to be hosted locally within Australia. That requirement can sometimes make it really difficult to then actually do any business with those businesses. So is regional data hosting something HighLevel is considering as part of?
100%. So it's actually a very big project for us. We have so many distributed services, the way that our infrastructure is built, we have to figure out how to make sure that we get the right data in the right locations. You being a SaaSpreneur and the way that the world works, we don't know. Like you may have a customer in Australia. You can also have a customer in United States. Now, if we try to data centralize it, you're actually affecting your business for that US customer and vice versa.
it has to be based on a sub-account basis. But how would you do that?
Exactly. And so that's why we have to rebuild the architecture of how we have our data centralization and then all the microservices to interact with each other. Right. And so that's where, but that is actually something that is underway and what we're actually trying to solve for with the size and capacity of our business. We do get this request quite a bit. And you have other regions, like in the European market, you have GDPR, you have other for us to do work for government agencies or teams that are selling to government groups or nonprofits and things like that. They have their requirements, or financial, right? Like they have data security requirements as well. So we are moving into that world from a data integrity perspective. I think by the end of the year, we should be in a closer world into that. But that being said, in the meantime, I mean, we do follow the right processes. We have all the legal paperwork to saying that we are an American company. And while you're in Australia, we follow all the appropriate laws that make
you just got SOC 2 qualified or certified.
Exactly. So we have all the operational methods so that you can operate today.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better once we release kind of the new architecture and we start separating the data there.
So you think around a 12 months mark where this could become more viable for...
That's the hope. That's what we're focused on.
Okay, brilliant. HighLevel has scaled incredibly fast, and with that comes challenge of building and maintaining great support teams. In the SaaS world, where there can sometimes be a very high turnover in frontline customer support roles, how do you approach building and retaining a strong support team at the scale HighLevel is operating?
So the interesting thing about that statement is we actually don't have a large turnover issue overall at HighLevel. I think we really focus on kind of our core strengths, like we're remote first. We are a very community-driven business so that we want to make sure that all of our employees are a part of the community. It's not like the company plus the community. It's no, as a community altogether, including our employees are a part of it. And that really translates into our culture and how we think about the business. And so we make sure that our culture is very strong. And as long as you're living by those expectations, we don't see a lot of people leaving. And it's very easy to weed out the people who are not following the culture of how we're growing the business, and they kind of self-select that out. But just generally speaking, we retain more than at a significant amount, even on the front lines. Now, when we talk about skill level and things like that, the hardest challenge is our customers will always be smarter than our team. Our customers will always be smarter than the smartest person here at HighLevel, because we are not talking to the customers. We are, when I mean the customers is we're not talking to your customers. You're the agency.
Yeah.
So these are your customers. We're not trying to figure out where how do we build the next trend? What we're trying to figure out is where the trend's going. So we're always like, we're never going to be on the bleeding edge of cool concepts. We're waiting for the signals from the community to say, hey guys, TikTok is taken off. You need to build these tools. So we're waiting to get that validation. Then we start building. We're not at the point where we can see around the corner of, wow, there's this new up and coming social media platform that's going to be released in 2 weeks. We should go ahead and start building it because we're hoping that it's going to take off. No, we don't need to predict the future. Let's wait for people to figure it out, and then they'll tell us how to solve it and go. So from that, our customers are always going to be smarter than us. So making sure that we have a team that not respects that, but then also is learning every single day to match up to the expectations to be the true support. Because we want to make sure that we can give you the resources, because our product is very unique. It's not a one feature or one defined way to use our platform. It is truly a platform in the sense of it can be a white canvas, and you as the technology implementer, you as the consultant, you as the agency can really whip up and map out the perfect solution for your business. And just like anything else, you can cut up an onion 20 different ways. It's come up to the same outcome. That's what HighLevel allows you to do. And so that's where complexity comes in. So we have to make sure that we're training and making sure that we build up our support team to be able to support that. And one of the biggest things, and I was actually on a call with our team nuts, how do we make sure that we're leveraging AI along the way for our teams to not only be a co-pilot, but even help supporting our customers? Because the biggest thing is consistency. Because you can build something in many different ways. When you come to support and you talk to me and the answer that I give you, and then somebody else who has the same problem, if they go in and get a different answer, that's where problems start existing, right? It's not consistent on why is it not the same answer every single time. But if we have AI kind of helping and collaborating there, I think we can build that up, and that allows a little bit more consistent of experience and consistent outcomes that we can deliver for our customers.
Yeah. Oh, great. I mean, I've never really had a huge issue with support. I've submitted a lot of tickets, that's for sure. But that just goes with the platform of that scale. Another question that came up from the community is around bringing on investors. When HighLevel partnered with firms like Peak Equity and General Atlantic, how did that change things internally? Did it affect how you and the other co-founders make decisions, or have you been able to maintain same level of control over the company's direction? Like, how do you balance investor expectations while still protecting the long-term vision of the company is, I guess, what I'm...
Yeah. When we made the decision, so we were bootstrapped from the very beginning of the company all the way to 2021. We've never needed a single dollar to keep the lights on in the business, right? And so that's an important piece. We've been profitable since the beginning. So we've never struggled with cash flow and things like that. And a lot of it was due to the fact of how we operated the business, right? We never even took a paycheck for the first year and a half. A lot of it was just putting the dollar back into the company, which allowed us to make sure that we operate. We actually didn't know how to operate with a negative cash flow business, right? If the money doesn't exist, why are we spending something that we don't have? And so when we brought on Peak in 2021, it was the height of the market. We were getting a lot of inbound inquiries, not that we were looking for it, but everyone was starting to hear about us and they want to get to us early. And we decided, you know what, let's go through this process. Let's see what happens. Because we needed a lot of consulting because we've never grown a business to that size and that level. And it was an interesting time in the world, right? This is when the pandemic was kicking off, or deep in the pandemic in 2021. The markets were going crazy. What are people seeing out there? Can we get free consulting? Through that, we had 400 people toss their hat in the ring saying that they're interested in our business, and 99.9% of them all hated our business model. They're like, there's no way this can last. This does not make sense. They would all give us a playbook and saying how we need to change our business and how we're doing it wrong. And we'd all kind of like, screw you. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're talking to us because you have the interesting business. What have you done? And so we basically, but what was interesting with Peak at the time, we needed help in not in operating the business, but a lot of our back office functions, right? Like, we needed to strengthen up our HR teams, for us to scale and grow, we needed to put some operational shifts there. And Pete was very deliberate on, look, you guys have an incredible business, but that's not where you need problem. You need help on kind of the back office, the financials and CFO and things like that. And we got really good advice. And then we continued to grow. And then very similarly, through that, we had a lot of people that joined the company early on and took a big bet for us. And in 2021, it allowed us to provide liquidity for a lot of our team members. They got a great bonus out of it and things like that. So that was really the primary functions of bringing in Peak at that time. And Thamon is a minority investor. We wanted to make sure that we maintain control. We're running the day-to-day operations. We're making all the decisions every single day. In 2024, we wanted to continue making sure that we're living up to the story for our employees, in that you came on early. There's other opportunities that you could have taken, but you continue to stay on us. We want to do good for you. So we want to make sure that we can bring on an opportunity to bring on another investor who can give us even more leverage from kind of the back office experience as we're growing into a bigger company, as we go into global markets. Who are the contacts? Who are the right players? Access is super important, right? For us, working with companies like Google or OpenAI, or having relationships with other partners and things like that, having people like Peak Equity and General Atlantic, who has an even bigger partnership, that's what we were looking for. We were not really looking for a lot of guidance and assistance in transforming the business in any way, of like how we're operating or pricing models and things like that. Like, that's something that both of them are very keen to saying, you guys need to operate it. You guys are majority stakeholders in the company. And they're very aware that we have to be the one to push it, because that's where the value comes in. But having them has been great. They've given us a lot of visibility on where we can strengthen, or it's like strengthening your core in many cases, right? You got to make sure that you're trying to build up that six pack for all your financials or your HR. When we're going global, how do we make sure that we have our legal structures correctly? Because those are the areas that become your blind side, because that's not,
because you're,
that's where Shaun and Varun and I really lean on them to help us on that front.
You're at that corporate level, basically. That's what it is. So like, you have to have those traditional
those contacts, those relationships and things like that. And that's not where we like being, but we have to at the size that we're at. And so having those partners have been great, and they're minority investors and they want to support us as best as they can. And they've done a great job on that. But from a day-to-day perspective, operating the business and where we're going, that's all Shaun, Vern, and me and our team.
I love it. That makes a lot of sense. There's a responsibility. You're a massive company, and that infrastructure back office is included. It's got to be solid, and
Yeah.
we need to feel comfortable so that we know that, because I'm responsible over my own customers and they're relying on that platform now. So yeah, there's a lot of layers of dependency, and so thank you guys for doing that. It sounds, it's a no-brainer. Like, it has to be done that way. These last couple of questions, I'm just going to bundle them into one thing. It's just related to B2B regarding security and flexibility for B2B space. So specifically for agencies working with corporate clients, that they need more granular control over email synchronization because of the fact that you have inbox that's universal and it's run directly in HighLevel. It also means that the email, you might use it for marketing, but people will reply and they might reply with something personal. Let's say example of an aged care business, right? If I'm trying to do work for them, if there's any marketing coming in, that's fine. But now if that person replies to marketing and starts talking about something that's sensitive that shouldn't be part of that channel, will HighLevel have some sort of ability to choose which conversations get logged onto CRM and which remain private?
Yeah. So we are actually underway, but we're trying to figure out the best way to roll it out. And the struggle is that we've been running the business. People are used to the platform for the past 8 years. And so we have to figure out a way to make sure that whatever changes that we do from that mind space of like you're used to the platform being a shared inbox and things like that, how do you make sure that you interweave it where it makes sense for the next iteration of it? And then to your point on the personal inbox or the personal messaging, and you see with the right person, knowing that today most businesses operate with having yet another separate inbox, right? You have a Gmail account or Office 365.
It's hard to get rid of it. Yeah.
Right. And then we're trying to add this other layer. So what we're trying to figure out is how do we roll out basically independent user inboxes within HighLevel, and then we have the ability to lock it down that way. So it's definitely underway and something that we're working on. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be ready to go there.
The other one is obviously Microsoft. It feels like you guys are more lean towards like Google products. Also, I mean, you have Outlook integrations, but there's a room, right? Like other competitors have those Outlook add-ins. Have you seen those?
Yeah. You're talking about the desktop add-ins. The challenge there is even Microsoft said that they're decommissioning Microsoft Outlook desktop, and they're going full web there. So it's not that we're oblivious to it. I mean, one, we need to create kind of the separation with the inboxes and stuff like that, but then we'll see how that plays out and how many customers actually use it, because you also have to change habits. Up to this point, they've been following other practices where they just kept their Office 365 inbox. They never plugged it into any other source of truth. So now you got to coach and educate them in something new. So we're going to be paying close attention as we roll this out to see the best way to make it all make sense.
Yeah. I mean, until then, obviously, it's going to be very limiting for certain industries to fully utilize HighLevel in that B2B enterprise space. So yeah, it could open up a new market for you guys. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you're on top of it. I don't need to grill you on this. So thank you for all the answers, mate. We're at the end. Final question for you: if you could go back, to the very beginning when you and the team were just sort of starting HighLevel, what advice would you give yourself?
It's a good question. What advice would I give myself? I think it would just be more, I don't necessarily know if it'd be advice, but more of a pep talk in the sense of what you're doing. Just keep going. And if I could go back and change anything, I wish that we were documenting the milestones that we hit along the way. I definitely enjoyed the ride that we got here, but are there memories of it? Are there any pictures of it? Or are there snapshots or anything like that? There's not a lot, right? We were just savoring in the moment and just, all right, we're done. Let's go. Let's keep going. And we just kept running. We're sprinting is kind of the internal term that my team likes to use. And we haven't stopped sprinting. And so there's no time to relish the moment. And I wish I was better about that. And if someone told me that along the way, that would have been really fun to look back and see the journey.
Yeah, because you can get caught in the moment, right?
And we're definitely living in the moment and enjoying it every single day.
Yeah. Guys, for anyone listening, if you want to try HighLevel, if you're not HighLeveler, or if you want to upgrade, we've actually partnered up with the team to offer you an extended 30-day trial, plus a bunch of resources I personally provide. I built some pretty cool snapshots, and not just me boasting, but I actually hear some good things about it. Getting that validation from others, it's how I built my products too. So I provide those resources to help you get results faster. I'm a fellow high leveler. I run my own SaaS. I'm in the trenches. I don't just sell snapshots. So yeah, if you're interested, head over to, I'll have to plug that link later. I just got a blank, but there's a link and then you guys can do that. Robin, thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you for sharing the insights and what's happening in the company and where it's going, and just being awesome. You, Varun, Shaun, you guys doing amazing things. Rest of the team, they're all amazing, and everybody has the best interest in heart. I've been with HighLevel for 5 years. I've been to 2 level up events. I love the product and I like where it's going. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to be doing more things together. Buckle up. Let's go.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode on the HighLevel Experience. If you've enjoyed today's episode, then please share it with other fellow agency mates and high levelers that you think would also benefit from listening. For show notes, links, and extra tips to help you grow your agency or your SaaS with HighLevel, please go to highlevelexperience.com. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day, everybody.